Getting old, staying young, and what won't Amy steal? All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do, 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 do. Hi, Amy. How are you?
Hello, and now I'm very well and happy and pleased and excited, thrilled, nay, overjoyed.
Wow.
We have massive technology problems today that we have overcome by divine providence. So it's true. We're supposed to record right now. And I think the reason is because I have an excellent story for you. It just might be possible that you and I have serendipitously identified the root cause of my theft. It just might be possible that we have the origin story for how and why I became an accidental opportunist when it comes to, just spare merchandise.
If you do not put that on your business card, accidental opportunist, you are missing. You're false. You're wrong, and start over because that is the best title ever.
Well, let me tell you, Melissa, I have now, based on this podcast, garnered an unfair, negative persona as a common criminal. And in fact, I am not so. I am not such.
Nobody ever called you common.
Not me. The criminality part is the thing that I'm more concerned with.
Okay.
I don't steal. I don't steal. I'm not a thief. I don't believe in it. I don't do it. I did work retail, which is its own form of thievery, and I have been known to self-select items that have been placed for disposal by others. Okay, if you put it in the dumpster, if you put it at the curb, if you put it waiting for maintenance to repair, then that means it's fair game for me.
If you hang it on a wall, or if you put your hairdryer in it, or if you have mislabeled it somewhere, if I found it in my stock of things I've purchased and told you I didn't have them and took them home anyway. Yeah.
Look, did I ever tell you about that woman's flowers I accidentally took? Did you ever hear about that?
Flowers?
When I worked at the hospital. Yeah. Did I ever tell you that? And she put
patient's flowers?
Around. No. I think I've told this story on pod before. She hung up flyers all over campus. Did I not tell this? Is it not ringing a bell?
No.
Okay. I was the marketing director of a medical facility attached to a university. So it's a teaching hospital, very large, level 1 trauma center, giant. All of the buildings were historic little townhomes in the city. And when I was leaving work one day, sitting on top of one of the columns was just a little artificial flower bouquet, like a decorative thing you would put kind of like on a cemetery. But you would like keep it on your desk or something. Okay. And I thought, why is this here? Why is this in the middle? It's so pretty. Somebody shouldn't be throwing this out. I've got a use for this. So I just scooped it up and kept walking, right? Came into work the next day, and the whole place has been papered with printed out, laser printed, large fonted sheets that say, missing flowers. If you took or know of who and this so that I would like to give you a reward. Very special flowers. I was like, fuck, now what am I going to do? So then I thought for a second, okay, should I just put them back on the pillar and none's the wiser? No, I fucking fessed up. I called the number and I said, I think I have your flowers, right? And she, oh, golly day, golly gee, golly wee, wow, whoa, 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 I'm so happy. Can I come and pick them up? And I'm like, I'll bring them to you, right? She gave me a gift, so embarrassing. And I said, I thought they were being thrown out, right? So I thought they were too pretty to throw out. And she says, I was carrying them to my car and my hands was too full. See, if she had a craft bag, none of this would have happened to her. So I blame the lack of a bag.
Wow.
You're so confused. All right. So that kind of thing happens to people all the time. I want to take those flowers.
I want to start at the top of this because, dear listener, this is why I want to hear from you this week. Would you throw those at the bottom of your trash can and put tonight's dinner refuse on top of it, mortified that you took somebody else's flowers? Or would you call the phone number on the lost, please return? I am horrified
that's
by
positive that I am not a fucking thief. I am not a fucking thief. Of course, a thief would keep it and laugh. Ha ha ha. I am not that.
I don't know about the keep it and laugh, but I am going to say I'm wildly impressed that you went ahead and called the number and said, I thought they were being thrown out. Like this is wildly innocent. She probably had the whole story built in her head how somebody stole something that, well, I mean, you were opportunistic. Look, here it is.
She put on the fucking thing like, these are meaningful flowers. I hold no vengeance in my heart. You know, if Jesus calls you, please. It was, I was definitely blessed by the Lord to deliver her flowers back.
Wow.
And if you saw a picture of the bouquet, you'd understand where all that's coming from. All right. So the whole thing was like, and then I was just roasted for the rest of my time at that office. Okay, can you imagine working with somebody where this shit went down?
Yeah, it's a rough one.
People can see in the fucking parking lot. I seem to recall when I was walking out, being with some coworkers, and I'm like, I'm going to take that. So everybody knew, like, it was this kind of thing where...
Maybe that's why you called. Maybe that's why you called. Didn't just
I'm a good girl. I definitely am not going to do that. And so this is the other thing, right? I don't take stuff that doesn't want to be stolen. So,
so you check the vibrations of the item that needs liberation.
I said that because it's a line in the movie. I don't take things. But because you and I, dear listener, catching you up, because you and I happened to meet this weekend at our former university. It's Tales of Universities Past is what this episode is about, evidently. We spent a little bit of time on the University of Delaware campus this weekend. It was exotic, exciting, deliriously fun, lovely. More on that later. One of the things that happened is I was reminded on campus of how much love, admiration, and respect I have for the University of Delaware Library. I was an English major. I spent a lot of time in there, did a lot of very detailed research in there, all the stuff. Just love it, love it, love it. I even had a little favorite corner of the library in there, where I would go and sit. You know, they would call them carrels. I would go sit in my little carrel. It was by the window, had a nice soft armchair. It had, again, an artificial flower was in there, plant.
Oh, boy.
I was ready to go. Part of the reason that I loved it is the artwork that was there. There was a beautiful calligraphy saying on the wall. And I just loved it, and it gave me such good vibes. And people could always find me at my seat. They knew right where I was, et cetera, et cetera. And when my time at university came to a close, I thought, I'm so sad to see my little faux office disappear. And I had the thought, what can I take as a reminder of this place? Can I like snap off one of these wooden legs? Like I was just thinking, what can I take? Just something small, you know? Just as you think while you sit there. And I kept thinking, I wish I could get that print. It's not that big, really. It's just a little bit bigger than a backpack. And I thought, how I can't really take something out of the library. And so
in the story, you told us the item and then you told us the challenge. It's a little bit bigger than your backpack. There's already a plot and a plan, and it's already been foiled.
I'll be completely honest with you, as I always am, to my own detriment. All right. I thought for a couple of months, how am I going to make this happen? Right. Because it's security bolted to the wall. I mean, there's a lot of problems here. And so I would just daydream like you would, like you're writing a caper movie. How would I rob this bank? As a caper movie, not to really rob it.
And then it became
you had a plan. Conversation, right? Well, my friends were always crafty, and they would do like hijink theft, where they would steal like, you know, those pylons in the road that have the blinking light on top of it, so you have to drive around it. The big, thick barrels that would have a light on it. Blink, blink, blink,
My
blink,
brother
blink.
stole one of those, and it blinked his entire high school career, and you can't open it and take the battery out. It's never ending. Yeah, it's annoying.
You can, because they found a way. One of them was very crafty. They stole 5 of them, and they put them across that covered crosswalk across whatever Mitchell Avenue or whatever that giant thoroughfare
Academy.
is.
Yeah.
That's it. They put it over there and timed them so that they would all blink simultaneously. And there they stayed. Right? So that was fun.
I like a good prank. I like a good prank
That's
like
a
that.
Prank. It's a hijinks. You know, stealing some art from the library. It's a hijinks. That's all it is. I'm Thomas Crown. That's all I am. He didn't want that painting. He just wanted to do it. Okay. So
I want that painting.
I chatted with them just about this little daydream and the fact that it couldn't really happen. And then I maybe had the idea to investigate like a second step. Like sometimes your body takes you to the next step. So I thought, well, what if I try to steal something through the sensors? Like maybe it's just a question of how do I beat the sensor at the door, the mags as they are.
Yeah.
And I thought I'm going to start with a book. So I tried to walk out with a book, and it went and it didn't work, right? And of course, I'm one of these people where when I'm trying to steal something, people presume. Well, I shouldn't phrase it that way. I'm one of these.
Okay,
people.
no, I think it came right out of your mouth exactly how it should have been.
Well, I was getting ready to tell you how I got into Carowinds for free, but anyway, here I'm one of these people. You remember how that happened, right?
I do.
I did tell that on pod. All right.
Yes.
So, well, that wasn't my fault either. All right. So in this case, I'm like, if something happens to me, people always presume that it's faulty equipment. They presume that, there's some error here. This lady's she's not doing anything wrong. So clearly, what's the matter? And I always look aghast, like, who farted, right? It's never me, right? A lot of times,
obviously,
I did fart.
Obviously, they are not listeners, but go ahead.
So I'm standing there, and I'm just a young girl at this point, right? Probably still in the teenage.
Early in my thievery years.
I remember the face of the girl because she was just another girl too. And she looking at me like, bitch, what you doing? And I was like, fuck. And I'm like, why is that going off? And she's like, obviously you have something. Like she didn't care. She was mean and knew. So I was like, and she looked at me and I tried to go through it again. And it like stops you. Okay. They're very protective of their books up at Delaware. So I couldn't get out. And I looked at her, and she looked at me, and we did this argumentative face stare off. Okay. And then she waved her hand real big and said, go back in the library. Like did a wave like, get the fuck out of here. Go back in the library. So I did. I turned around. I walked back in the library. She didn't know this part. Took the book out of my pants, put it back on the shelf.
Out of my pants. No.
Then I
out of my pants.
Then I exited without setting off them sensors. And she didn't say boo to me. But that was the end of my thievery career because I realized these mags have prevented me from taking stuff. It was the end. Except my roommates love me so much. I don't remember how they concocted it, but they somehow got some advanced knowledge of when there was going to be a testing of the fire alarm at the library, like a scheduled maintenance or some shit. Went in 1, 2, 3, what do you call it? In cahoots? What's the thing? Oh, it was a conspiracy. They did a conspiracy style, walk in, unbolt that shit from the wall, stick it in another arm, just walk out the fucking door when the thing is over, and presented it to me as a gift at graduation.
It literally was the Thomas Crown affair. Like 100%.
Well, yeah, but I'm not, and it's so nice. And they signed the back of it, and the security sensor is still attached to the back of it. I'll show it to you. It's still old from the place where they printed it. Anyway, it was just a nice saying, so I have it hanging in my office, and I like it. And I feel like that's a fine little story to tell. And I mean, I didn't steal. There were some chairs scheduled for disuse.
Oh
and I
my
kept
God.
them.
Stop it. We've already heard the excuses of how you got your sealed Delaware seal chairs. They were stolen. They were absolutely stolen. Positively.
Well, I did steal that teapot from the honor ceremony, but that was on purpose. I mean, that was like a memento of the service.
Oh my
God.
I mean,
these little things
say it again for posterity.
But I don't take things from real places, really, and I don't do it though. It started out to be
there
fun.
It is.
Actually, now I'm thinking about a lot of things that I took, but I'm not, shit. I don't do it, though. I'm a good girl, and I don't take.
You are.
I'm not going to. I do.
You
don't
are
steal.
a good girl.
And I don't steal. I wouldn't. Let me put it to you like this. I have come all the way through the horn, and now I'm at the place where I get irritated when it would be very easy to rip somebody off, okay? And I don't do it. And then I get mad, and then I feel empowered to do it just to show them that they deserve it. That's what makes me mad. And that was the genesis, the origin of me sending you these texts that say, I didn't steal nothing today. I didn't take that necklace, even though it was right there. Fools. I didn't steal that luggage. All the things.
I would like you to, at the end of each of those sentences, say, Your Honor. And then you have a better understanding of how you actually sound. I mean, I took it as a challenge, Your Honor. I went ahead and they wouldn't leave it there, Your Honor, if I didn't expect me to take it with me on my way out of the fill-in establishment here. The library, the hotel, the casino.
I'm not in trouble. I didn't do anything wrong. All my stuff I did right. And all I'm trying to tell you is I saw an opportunity to be bad and I overcame it. That makes me a rehabilitated that makes me a wonderful citizen.
And yet, you know what you are? On top of all of it, you know what you are wonderful at doing? Somebody even
What's
told
that?
you this weekend, cooking. Amy and I did not realize that we would be in the same place at the same time. Or she did and never shared it with me. I did not know. We had a couple of friends from LA find their way to, I would say, a rugby tournament on campus, but it was a game against ourselves. So it was kind of billed weirdly, because that's a word. And we stood on the sidelines together and looked at each other like, I know you. How did you, what did you? Okay. Never discussed. Are you going? Or am I going? It's always a delightful surprise to see Amy at gatherings. I honestly didn't know if I was going to the last minute, but my child needed assistance in addition to, so it was already part of my plan. Anyway, I say this because we got to be with friends and see the campus again, and we got to be together at this new age. We've never been together as we age. Each time we get together, it's a new experience, whether it's because of a new stage of our children, whether it's because of a new stage of our lives, sickness, pain, whatever, whether it's a new stage of our relationships, married, divorced. We get a fresh start every time we get together, and it's fucking fantastic. I endorse. Get this group of friends. See them as often as you can. Having said that, we rely on each other to be stable in certain areas of our lives. And beginning this evening, a holiday hits my community, and somehow, I'm hosting a ritual dinner. And I don't know how it happened. I got backed into this one. I know. I see the way you're looking at me. It is actually Wednesday evening that I'm hosting it, because Tuesday evening I am working a election day here in the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Drop great. It's just the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And Monday night we're picking the boy up from the airport, where he is arriving in an hour and a half, and I too am vibrating with excitement, and just I can't. I can't take it. So yeah, I'm starting cooking. I have made an entire brisket. I have questions. I need help, and you are my guru for all things.
I'm happy to not help.
I know that about you.
Give me your questions.
I have 10 people out of 10 to 12
Yes.
people. We're not sure who's bringing kids. But my issue is it's 3 male teens, early 20s, which to me means hollow leg, can eat like a fucking warrior. And 1, 2, 3 grown men in addition to that who, right? So that's now you're up to 5. It's a lot of boy energy. And I need to know how much meat one needs to serve to all of those people. This is a holiday where I can't make a kugel that is filling, because that noodle is not allowed. And I just need to know if what I have is enough. If Diano, it would have been enough. It's funny. It's part of this holiday that getting us out of Egypt, it would have been enough. It would have been enough is really the tagline. I don't know if I have enough, Amy. I have a brisket that started at 7 pounds and wound up as a hockey puck. I have chicken freemie that I'm making as well.
How many chicken breasts go into that?
Okay. I got the thinly
Let me say it an easier way.
I don't know.
Let me say it an easier way.
How many packages?
You're going to be looking for about 15 pounds of protein to serve. So you're going to call it 7 on the brisket, and you're going to make an roughly equal portion of chicken freemie. And between those 2 dishes, you'll have enough protein.
Okay.
Because you want 15 pounds of protein for that amount of people. A pound a person. And you're going to count 15 people because you got big eaters and you always want to have more. So 15 pounds. Done.
Okay.
Of finished protein.
Incredibly helpful. Of finished, right. Because if I went in with 7 and I left with 5.
Right.
Okay, so I might need
more
chicken.
So a big old platter of chicken freemie, a big old platter of brisket. You're probably looking at 11 pounds, 10, 11 pounds is where you are. So you're right skating on the cusp of it. What else would you serve as a main? Is there a meat-free main? Because that can take over some of that protein spot. Because not everybody has to have protein all the time. But I don't remember the food restrictions for this holiday. Like, is there no dairy, no noodle, no?
Dairy is fine. The issue is the leavened things. So instead of breadcrumbs with seasoning, I'm using matzo meal with more seasoning because I feel like matzah
Well,
takes
noodles
flavor
aren't
away.
leavened, so you can't have noodles even though noodles aren't leavened.
I can have weird noodles, like kosher for Passover weird noodles, not the egg noodles that you love so much.
Okay, I don't understand. That doesn't have to do with leavening. It must have to do with something else. So, unless you're considering the egg a leavening agent, which it is, but I guess technically
But
the
eggs
leavening
are
agent
all
of the
over
egg is
this
the thing.
Seder.
Okay, so yeah. If you bake an egg, one of the properties of having an egg in your baked dish is that it will produce a rise to a minuscule degree. Minuscule. But you can have egg-free noodles, which are not horrible. That's pasta. Pasta is flour and water a lot of time. But you're fine. Who cares? We'll leave out the fucking noodles. What do you normally eat for Passover? You have a brisket and can you have potato? I'm an Irish person.
Yes,
potatoes?
there are potatoes and eggs. There are potatoes and eggs up your you'll
and you
never
can have
shit
cheese
again.
on those?
Yes.
You can have
So-
cheese on those? Okay.
So I found a potato
No?
dish online that was, the little reds that you cut in half, and you do
Yeah.
a little bit of oil and the rosemary and the Parmesan, and they crisp up and they're fire. And then my girlfriend said, "I'm gonna bring a vat of mashed potatoes." Do I make mine anyway
Okay.
and have double potato?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Two
Traveling
all right.
potatoes are just so welcome. I'm shaking my head no. That's not what you want. So it's fine. They'll be fine. That's fine. I'm sure her potatoes are extraordinary in her house when they're freshly prepared and served. I don't know how great they are when they're going to sit in a car for 2 hours and then on your counter for 4. So, yes, have a second potato. And everybody loves potatoes.
Right, and a
It's
salad
like
and
Friends. Tater tots, mashed potatoes, corn tates. All the potatoes for everyone's Thanksgiving. Yes.
I could do latkes for this, couldn't I?
100%.
As long as there's no
yes.
flour. Okay. All right. Then I'm good. But you definitely have me on to having more protein. And the number you gave me is super helpful and I super appreciate it.
It's a 1-to-1 and you're count on a party of 15. Just make it
Okay.
15 in your head. And
Yep.
then that way you'll at least have leftovers for the people who want it at the worst and plenty at best, right? So count for 15 and then do a pound ahead. Like the other thing that we do frequently is a healthy sized potato per person is another way to judge how many potatoes to make. So, whatever. 1 per person. 1 pound, 1 potato.
I love your verbiage right there made me desperately want to do 15 baked potatoes because that's filling as fuck.
Yeah,
and if
it's
people
easy.
can make it themselves, that is easy as hell.
It is beautiful and easy and make ahead, and it is super welcome, especially if you do them really, really, really long in there. So they've got that crisp jacket on the outside, and you've coated
With
it with
salt?
oil and salt, so you can eat the skin. It's crunchy like a steakhouse thing, and if you've got
Now I'm
juices
fucking
in the other
starving.
foods that you're serving, you can sop it up with that potato goodness. Super, super good. It's super good. I would make it easier on yourself. Do that. And the prep is fucking easy. Storage is easy. That's a great make ahead eat. That's a very good crowd pleaser dish.
And filling. So
And
I
filling.
will have my 15 pounds, I don't know, of protein for everyone. I will have tons of, and that'll be great. But okay, I need a little more chicken, I think, between now and Wednesday morning. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you. I didn't mean to dogleg so much, but I, dear listener, got to see Amy this weekend. So as much as we would love to share, we did take turns, though. We weren't always there at the same time. Actually, it's because I had to leave. But Amy was there speaking with the generation before us. I looked at my Passover Seder and I thought, oh, I don't have any old people on here. And then I realized that my children would say that we are the old people at the Seder. So I got a little nervous that that's our role now. And as we age, we see our parents aging, and we're going to step into that. I don't even want to use this word, but like matriarch of the family. And what do you think about that? That's going to be your role in a hot minute, and what do you feel about that responsibility?
I feel many things about that responsibility and about the weekend in general. So let me color in some of the lines as well. The whole reason this came to be is our group of friends that we talk about, where we all met at the University of Delaware. some of us grew up very near the University of Delaware. Most of us did. Some of us didn't. So whenever there's an event that happens at or near the University of Delaware, it's kind of like a magnet. So you find your way there because you were there for 4 years at least. A lot of us have family there. So it turned into this opportunity where I get to see you because you're here to see that, but then I'm also going to see this. So every single person, you, me, other friends we've mentioned by name, right? It was like, this is your portion of the visit, and then we splinter off and do another portion with our people. And that meant in this one trip, I saw my parents. Janine saw her parents, right? Marnie saw her in-laws. Lisa saw her parents. And it was, when we're talking about parents, I love to say with some accuracy, we old bitches. So our parents are like proper grandparent age. Some of them in their 90s. Some of them walking with a cane. Some of them dealing with major health events. Some of them can't be bothered to come down to campus and see us. You come to my house to see me. So it's, we got all sorts. And it was just so charming and delightful. What I was really struck with is how generous with their time these folks are. And I don't mean that, of course they would be. Like a lot of them who are generous with their time love to say, well, these are my grandbabies. Of course I would do that. Of course I would do that. No, of course you wouldn't. I know a lot of people who can't be bothered to get off the fucking couch and can't be bothered to pick up the phone. So generous with their time in a way to physically fucking travel there and then be up, stay awake, sit there late into the evening, just having conversation. And the same was true with the kids, right? These are kids who, the college kids, skipped. We were there, can I say it, people, on 420. And if you don't know, the whole world was high.
It's a national holiday.
Down here we call them darties. Up there, I learned from the hip cats, they call them dages, right? Everybody lit up, fired up, fucking, and meanwhile, where are they? Sitting around a table, drinking a soda with grandmom so we can sit and laugh and hear the stories and talk about and hold your hand and take a silly photo and all the rest of it. And they ate that shit up and they didn't want to be anywhere else. They truly, you could tell by their faces, didn't want to be anywhere else. And that's the thing that I really look forward to, because I certainly don't deserve it coming my way, but I endeavor to be as flexible. When my body doesn't work, when I'm dealing with a health condition, when I can't physically walk to the place you want me to be, because magically, here's the other piece I want to fucking say that you might not even know, god damn it. Those two bitches are the worst people in the world. They made me walk so fucking far. Do you know where the hotel is? You know where it is.
Yeah.
It's 14 miles from campus. They made me walk from their son's dorm on South Campus to the hotel with luggage.
On North Campus.
Why? Why? I keep, my feet are still saying why? Like every step you take, like squeaky shoes. Why? They're very fit. They're from fucking California. They don't understand shit. They constantly want to be on their feet and walking around.
It's not 14 miles.
Okay,
it is not
I
14 miles.
At the dorm that it was 4 miles, legitimately 4 miles, okay? And when somebody said, how far is it? Shut up. So when we were there in the dorm room, we were all standing around going, how are we going to get where we're supposed to go? And I see him gathering up luggage to take with us. And I'm like, I already had a problem getting from where we are to where we're going. Hands free. So don't actually start loading me up like you're fucking pachyderm. Okay, so meanwhile, they would say, first of all,
Pachyderm.
fucking bitches. Cobblestones with a fucking wheelie bag? What are we doing? We're adults. It's not fair. It's not right. And then they made me drink at the hotel. So I was pissed and drunk. And I still had a good time.
That sounds about right. To your point about the kids and the parents, it was 3 generations of us sitting at that table, and it was kind of amazing. I got a text from Marnie later that day that said the whole her kid, my kid, like sitting there, both students at the university, which made us realize that this friendship group we have is so special and so important to us. We need, and it's totally selfish, but we need just to keep this, to perpetuate this thing, to just have gatherings of the children and not us. We need to put them all on a party bus. And as my daughter looked at me and said, as I left her, she said, well, I've already missed like a pregame and whatever was going on, but totally worth it. I had such a good time. The hug, the love, the fact that she was talking to Marnie's kid and the other kids who came, the cousins who came, it's just magical. I love to know that this doesn't stop with us the way I feel like all the grandparents in my family have moved to Florida. And now they only have the ability to be manipulative to say, well, if you loved us, you would come see us and you'd bring your children. P.S. We're all in one place. You chose to leave. It is now your choice to either stay there or fly up and be a part of a holiday. And this is your choice. So the fact that it flowed so beautifully, it was a really great experience. The only thing, it was marred terribly by the fact that the Sixers lost their first game with the Knicks. But fret not, I will be in attendance at the next, not tonight's, but the next one where I can watch them play at home and root for the home team. So don't worry.
May their memory be a blessing. Yes.
Oh.
So I don't know anything about it. It was playing behind us. People were cheering behind us as we were talking in the hotel lobby having drinks. And I will say this. The grandfather in question has some trouble hearing. And I have some trouble with my volume. So I'm always accommodating to people. So I was talking really loud. And so
love it.
Our entire conversation was like we were up on a platform.
Overheard.
And if you didn't want to hear it, too bad, because you were going to hear it because it was nice and loud. So that was very funny. It was just fun. And I'm so grateful for it. That's why I drove 14 hours to make it happen.
That's fucking crazy. You are crazy. Thank you for your service, Amy. Thank you for your service.
What a pivot we are about to make from the glories
Joy
of genetic love. That sounds so creepy. I'm just saying, when you have family and generations and people, even when there's disagreements, however minor, you're just so excited to be in one another's company, and that you
love.
respect the bond. You respect the bond. You're all part of the same thing, and there's such a reverence for that, right? Everyone uniquely has a reverence and a respect for the treasure that is. Okay. Cut to at several ago lacrosse matches for my son. He plays on so many teams and has played on so many teams over the years that frequently you will find yourself encountering a player in a different way, right? So you're both in your high school game, and then magically at the other high school is a kid that you played on the summer league with. You see where this is going, right?
Oh, okay.
So you bump into people. Yep. You bump into people. Same thing. So bumping into a player on the field that you haven't seen for a couple of leagues ago, and that means the parent is in the stands, and that parent happened to be a coach of you in middle school or whatever. So it's like all the bip, bip, bop, bop, bop. So, and you're now pitted against this other player. So it's a head-to-head competition, right? So it's all the fun. Then when the game is over, yabba, 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 gabba, 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 talk to the person. Okay. So my son goes up to the player and goes over to the dad and wants to say, the former coach of his and the dad of this player, right? And the player, he's like, hey, did you see this? Did you see me guard? And you're thinking, yeah. So the kid goes off to the locker room, and now it's just my son and the kid's dad, right? Former coach of my son.
Right.
And he says, so what do you think about that performance? Because my son actually had the upper hand in this situation. Like, he roundly defeated this other player. And the dad says to my son, yeah, he played like shit. Must have got his other dad's genes. That's got nothing to do with me. Thank you for the pause. For the sake of the podcast, I'm just going to pause while you cover your face and have eyes as big as saucers, because my son stood there and took a beat and said nothing, and then stared at his former coach and said, and I quote, my son, with the presence of mind, I'm so grateful for this child, looked at him and he said,
yeah,
looked at him and said, I have no idea what to say to that. And he starts laughing, and he goes, well, you played a good game, yappy, 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 yappa, and like double down on the biological dad's contribution to this shitty play that his own stepson has now done.
Wow.
What? So my son told my husband and myself as we were riding home in the car, and I thought, this is so shocking. I don't even know what to do. And we're kind of, you can't even laugh at it because you're so aghast. And we sort of talked all around like, who would do that? That's so weird. It's weird to do it in every context. And then we thought, okay, because the story dies here, we obviously can't tell anyone, right? Of course, we'd never tell anyone. Right. Keep that business, that would reflect poorly on every single person who knows. Right. That just goes without saying. Or so I thought. Because then come to find out, my husband told the male friends in the lacrosse dads group because they all know this coach. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And they all tripled down on like, I can't believe it. That's so shocking. Who would even say that about your kid? And that's so weird. But I'm like, meanwhile, what are you doing? Pot stir? You can't stir that pot. What are you doing? So now I feel entitled to tell every fucking body all over the podcastosphere who has no idea who my child is or who these other perpetrators are. However, can you imagine being the father of someone and saying something along the lines of, I'm not your biological father to someone else, and that's the reason you suck? Just the levels of where do I even unpack the craziness of this? The fact that he's a coach. Would your coach ever say to someone on the team, you suck because your dad sucks? I'm your coach, not your dad. And if your dad gave you better athletic power, like, just what the fuck are you? I can't even.
Can I ask you a question?
I'll try.
Okay. My husband and I, have a very self-deprecating sort of humor / reality. I don't know how to phrase it, but I have been known to say, and I want to know if this is still in the pocket and we should be ashamed of ourselves. Are people making the face that I just made for that borderline abusive, disgusting comment out of that stepfather?
Kind of. Okay, yeah,
not,
good. Kind of.
Right, it's gross.
Yeah.
Is my comment that Stuart and I have been making for the last 20 years along those lines? Have we horrified people when we say, hey, look, there's a point in every Jewish man's life when he realizes that his kid is more likely to own the team than be its star player? Like, is that...
Yeah, I've heard that one from you a couple times.
Is that along the same lines, or is that like...
No, because you're not saying, let's all observe my son. He has zero athletic talent.
No, that's not when it's said. It's said at a cocktail party with other people.
Right. What you're saying is, like, I could make some general comment about being Italian or being Irish, which I do a lot. And I would then be accused of being racist, but I'm not going down that road where I have to scream out, I'm not racist again. I'm so tired of that
to your
phrase.
children.
It always gets you in trouble. Always
tell
gets you in
you
trouble.
that you're...
It always gets you in trouble.
What they call you?
They say she's having a flare-up. Whenever I say something, they say, oh,
your
Mom's having a
racism
flare-up.
showing. Mom's having a flare-up.
I'm like, I'm not racist. All right.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think that's just a lighthearted, poke fun at.
Okay.
We know where our strengths are, right? It is.
That's how we meant it, but
little. It is slightly acerbic, but only in a refreshing lemonade sort of way. No one is concerned with this. It is definitely humor. It is clearly what it is, and it's not about anyone
that's how it's
specific.
meant, of course.
That's how it's received. That's how it's received. The only reason I even know about this, that it made its way around, and when I say talk to the other dads, they have a group text going for things like, this is the hotel, who's coordinating pickup. It's just them, right?
I know what men talk about. Yeah, I know.
In that relatively private text chain, did you hear that shit? Can you believe that shit? That went around in the text chain, which I thought, frankly, was inappropriate. So, blah, blah, blah. And I only presume that my husband started it because I don't know who else heard. Maybe somebody else heard and started it. So not to blame him if he wasn't the one. In any event, I only know about it because their other kid, made such a nuisance of himself at the game that I had cause to comment. We were at this game and paying attention to the game. We were in bleachers. So they're metal elevated bleachers, outdoor bleachers.
Super comfy.
Picture what those are. Yes, horrible. Okay. Someone had brought a very, very, very energetic toddler and had also brought giant blocks. You remember the Mega Blocks from Legos, the ones that are like as
Of
big as your
course.
forearm?
Of course.
Brought basically a wheelbarrow full and set that child up midpoint in the metal bleachers. And the child was having a field day throwing the blocks because they made such a loud on the metal throughout the game. And it was the kind of noise that made you grasp your sternum because you thought something was happening behind you that was threatening to kill you. It was very scary. And frankly, to the point where a couple times I thought, you're going to disrupt this game because you're so distracting. It's like having an air horn. Like it's just a jarring noise, right? So I just moved to another part of the bleachers and went about my business and, overlooked it. What am I going to do? I'm not going to say anything to these people or this kid. But after the game, when we were all chatting about the game, did you see this? Did you see this? I said, oh my gosh, did you guys see that kid and the noise? I couldn't stand it. And they're like, that was Coach's kid. So that's the second kid of the man who wants to talk shit about the first kid.
Who's
unbelievable.
By the way, he's biologically yours, asshole, because of his age, and he's a fuck up too. Is that what you're looking for? He's a fuck up too.
Wow. No comment. And I don't know whose lineage is who, and lineage doesn't fucking matter. Okay? Once you're in the family, you're in the family. That's it. Nobody's doing a gene test. Pass the soup. We're done. Next. You're in my tribe.
That's how I feel about our friends, too. You're in my tribe. No matter what stupid shit you do. For example, oh, God, I'm going down for this one. For example, I love these girls full whole heart. Bushy tail, whole nine. We have our dear, dear friend who decided to breed her dog. And I thought, I fucking hate what you're doing. I hate that you're doing it. Do I think her dog has hints of being exceptional? Sure she does. Does that matter in my heart? No. I spend half of my days working with canine rescue, and I know how many dogs there are out there who need homes desperately and are being euthanized every minute of every day. They literally have clocks on their crates at ACT Philadelphia in the city. They're going to euthanize them. One of them, I was at an event with him yesterday. His name is Todd, and he has 4 teeth total. 50% of them are visible when his mouth is closed. He is, if anything, he is a gremlin. What's his breed? Fuck you. He's everything. He's a cocktail. All of these dogs need homes desperately, and I'm an advocate for rescue. And when I find out somebody that I love with a full heart has chosen to breed, does that make me love her any less? No. Does that make me not want one of those puppies? No. Yes, you can still love your family unconditionally, and she is family.
It's not where I thought we were going.
And hate something
this is completely not where I thought we were going. Tales of adoption stories, and I had 2 loaded up. But now, if we're just talking about dogs and how poorly they behave, so my other favorite one is my husband. This same weekend was traveling.
Sorry, Annie, I love you.
Stayed. Yeah, she's now. What do you want her to do now that the dogs are born? Knock it off? How?
No, this was a rite of passage for her. She wanted to do this. She wanted her dog to feel it. All fine. I hate every second of it, except the pictures she's sending. Oh my God. You need another dog. They are fucking gorgeous. All right, go ahead. Adoption.
Stop it. No, stop it with the new dog. Because I'm thinking, I keep having these daydreams. Our baby is 7. And so that's really a good time to add one, because it's just enough time to not be disruptive to the elder statesman, and also enough time to help groom up the baby, right? So that they get a good time together, so that when there is a separation, it's a good, yeah. But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not, doesn't need to happen. It's stupid. But
I know
am
puppies
surrounded
that
by
will be
a lot of
available in
puppy
June.
juju. Yeah. My husband, I had a girls' weekend. It coincidentally fell on a boys' weekend. So he was in North Philly hanging out with his college friends and stayed with them for part of the time, as one does. They have a puppy, and the puppy is evidently a terror. And it is a version of a doodle. He told me, and I don't care enough to remember, but it's evidently a beautiful dog. And just because it's a normal puppy in the sense that normal puppies are terrors. And I said, well, what do you mean? Just too much energy, or not enough training? Because that happens, right?
Yes,
and he said,
yes.
I don't know, man. No, he said it wasn't. He immediately said it's not about the training, but at the same time, he was like, at one point, the dog jumped up on the counter and put its entire head in a bowl of chips.
What?
And then I was like, wow, this sounds like a great dog. I'm excited. That's a self-advocate. I love hearing that shit.
Jumped
That's
up
chaos.
on the counter. Oh my
Right.
God. I do see
Head and
TikToks where
chips.
like
What an image.
a crazy
Right.
husky is on the top of a refrigerator. And I think, how'd you even fucking get there? But all right, I'm counting
Yes.
my blessings. We are lucky. We are lucky. We are lucky. We are lucky. They don't jump
I
on the
love it.
counter
I
and eat.
love it. I love it.
Wow,
I
that
love
sucks.
it. I love it.
There are puppies for you though.
Well, tell me this. No, tell me this. What happens in I know what happens in Passover. It's all of the shit that was going down was stopped, right? Through faith. It's like we're not taking this shit anymore, and we're
God
protected.
did it. He sent plagues. He sent plagues to
everybody else. Right. And you said, fuck you. Nope. Fuck you. Fuck you. We can handle anything. We got it. We got you.
Well,
we
said
That's Passover.
Pharaoh said, Moses, let my people go. Pharaoh, go fuck yourself. Oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to bring plagues on you. And when the plagues started to
Keep
happen.
working for free. Right. Keep
right,
doing all my
free.
shit. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But the bottom line and what got them free and got them through was, you remember, pass over our door.
Yes.
Goat's blood on the door. Slaying of the firstborn. It's real uplifting shit
Creepy.
going on.
It's so fucking creepy.
It ends with.
It's so creepy.
The whole Seder ends with next year in Jerusalem. And that's what all the Jews say. And this year in Jerusalem, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine is what I'm saying. That this is a holiday that is about freedom from indentured servitude or just captivity.
Right.
And there are 133 Jews still in a bunker underground. I mean, probably not, if we're being honest, right? Probably not. But in my heart, I need to think it.
I have an uninformed opinion that the reason that negotiations continue to stall and will never move forward is because there is nothing to negotiate. There's no release that can happen for souls who are no longer with us. And I suspect that to be the facts would suggest that to be the case.
I think
right?
their families still want their bodies back.
We don't like facts because none of the facts of this entire situation from before it occurred are any good, right? So we can start there. And for those of us who pray a little harder. For those of us who don't give it a try, right? Good vibes never hurt anybody. What do you care?
Can't
Especially
hurt.
if you don't believe
Right.
it. Especially if you don't believe it. Fucking sign up.
Prayer's fantastic when you're not a believer.
Look it,
Thumbs up.
okay? Let me say it to you in a way you'll understand it, okay? Because I feel like you really do believe it. And I think you just don't want to get caught believing it, right? You don't want people to...
Ooh, that's
to
interesting.
That's the truth. I think in your heart, you are completely on board. You just don't want anybody to look at you and go, but I have a brain, and what are you doing? Like, that's just never going to work, right? And my point is, fuck you and your brain. I got more important things to do. Here's what I'm trying to say. Listen.
That's a drop.
Gravity works
Fuck
whether
you and your brain.
Listen. Gravity works whether you believe it or not. Doesn't it? Okay? Some things work regardless of your belief. And I extend that to matters that are beyond human comprehension. We have observed in the human experience patterns of benefit and loss across cultures, across generations, across the globe that hold up to science, that hold up to scrutiny, that the mystery is a pattern that is repeated in nature, in cells, in sound waves, in universal systems light years away from us. That is not accidental. That is simply a reflection of our limited understanding. And if I get a vibe that some shit's right, I trust the vibe, right? I drop stuff, it falls on the floor. I don't have to go, well, if I don't know the equation, it must not really be a real thing. And I don't know who keeps making those sounds in my mouth for people I dislike. But anyway. Okay. It's been a very long day filled with crazy, creepy vibes. So I'm just trying to, I think that vibes are all around us, jacking with us. And I still think that the motion of the universe is fucking around with us, Mercury in retrograde, all that crazy banana shit. It's a lot. I still believe it.
Dear listener, do you believe it? Do you believe in miracles? Do you believe in prayer? Do you believe in anything? In what can you actually believe these days? Please write to us and let us know in what you believe, in what you trust. Is it God? Did we just become a religious show? Write us at brilliantobservations@gmail.com. Find us on
But
Instagram.
I mean, also, sure,
wanna,
fuck it. Religion's great. Instagram's great. All the things are great. We love it. It's great. Keep going. I jumped in.
Religion's great when you're practicing yours and you don't force it on or persecute others for theirs. Can we agree baseline?
Yeah, I kind of feel like that's at the heart of all religions. When you look at them,
It's not.
yeah, it's people.
But it's not at the
people getting
practice of
zealoty.
most. So
People getting zealoty and they just get too wrapped up in how good their thing is. They decide they want to make everybody else have that good thing instead of inviting other people to try that good thing. Very different.
I'm good. Back the fuck off. I have an allergy that used to work with like weird shit I didn't want to eat. Do you think it will work with weird shit I don't want to observe? So let us know. Go on Instagram. Oh, here's a fun experiment. Go on Instagram and take a picture of something you believe in and tag us in it. No, not going to happen.
I believe in pork rinds. I'd piss on a spark plug if I thought it would matter. All right. I don't know what is going on with me today, as I have clearly said, and you could hear through this fucking podcast.
It's been a long
my
day.
whole head and
It's
face.
been a tough one.
Yes.
Hey, this dear friend of ours, Marnie, flew to this coast to tell me that she joined my blood team. So if you have a Red Cross or blood life-saving app on your phone, you should absolutely get a badge by joining my team, and it is Brilliant Observations. Just poke it in there. It'll come up and you'll say join team, and you can see how many lives we are saving. We're not just getting on here and verbal diarrhea at once a week. This is making a difference. Make a difference with me. Thank you for coming out. I thank you for turning us on. I hope we turned you on in some way, although as to Amy's
Enjoy
point,
your
she can't
Passover.
imagine how.
Enjoy your briskets, all your things. And if you don't celebrate Passover, try to celebrate it. Why not? What do you got to lose? Right?
Pound a
This
person.
year for the Jews is evidently, I was told, everything is pushed late. Everything is late. Like Hanukkah coming up all the way at the end of the year, which is what most of the goy pay attention to for you guys. That happens in fucking January.
Are you serious?
It goes all the way to January 2nd. It's so fucking late. It goes into January 2nd. That's shitty.
You know what they say about
That's
the
shitty. I'm
Jews?
sorry for you.
Our holidays, early or late. I don't even know what on time would be.
Very good.
We love you guys.
It's true. Bye. Fuck you and your brain.